Aloha and welcome back to my loft. It's nice to be here on this Tuesday. However, I do not know when you're going to be able to see this because we have absolutely no phone service, doesn't matter the provider, and no internet service at the moment, although unless if you have Spectrum, which I do not. Hawaiian Telecom is definitely completely down. So don't know the reason yet. I guess there was a big fire, so I'm thinking that might be it, but have not heard yet. And it's interesting because, it was a beautiful full moon night. I should just bask in the glory of the full moon. But my first reaction was to go walk in my pajamas and find a neighbor and find out if they had internet. Isn't that just crazy? I could have just meditated in the moonlight and enjoyed myself, but no, I had to know, does anybody else have it? There's no phone, there's no internet, what's going on? Oh, it's just crazy us humans, huh? All right, so anyway, gonna have a little sip of my green tea. Aren't these beautiful mugs? Or they're Thai teacups. All right, so on to chapter 3. I think I'm going to do 2 chapters today because 3 and 4 is a little bit short. And like I said, I don't know when I'll get it up online, but I guess that depends on service. All right, chapter 3. It's strange to come home to an empty house, Kristen says as Jason pulls into Kristen's driveway after their dinner date. Jason isn't sure if she is hinting at him to go in with her. There is a moment of awkward silence. Thank you for driving. I had a wonderful time. It was a great day, Jason agrees. I'm looking forward to yoga. I would also still love to drive out to the North Shore and check on Lotus with you if you'd like the company. I would, Kristen answers honestly. Jason puts the car in park, quickly gets out, and runs to the passenger side to open Kristen's door. He gently kisses her on the cheek and embraces her firmly. Kristen steps back and says, "Thank you for dinner. It was a real treat. I guess we'll see you again in the morning for yoga." Jason is a little relieved that she has answered his question about whether he should go into the house with her. "You're welcome. Sweet dreams," Jason says, getting back into his rental convertible. The top is down and she can hear the music on his stereo. Kristen watches as he backs out of the driveway and then waves goodbye. As she is walking up to the house, her cell phone rings. It is Lotus. "Hi, Mom. How are you? How did your dinner date go?" "It was fun. I just got home and I have to say it's weird being in this house without you. Are you okay? What do you think of Davis's property? Does he have concrete bunker there as well?" "Those are a lot of questions. No, Davis has a small cabin. He built the place for survival after a fallout." "I hope you understand why I'm so worried about you staying out there with someone who is preparing for disaster. Doesn't Davis make you uncomfortable? He's so negative. I mean, like a real bummer." "Not really. I feel like this is all a part of my lesson. Hannah is teaching me about accepting Davis's negative viewpoint to polarize the fear at the root of it positively. Anyway, he won't be here. He got a job in Boise, Idaho, so it'll be just Hannah and me." "Oh, honey, I don't feel comfortable with that either." "Mom, I told you I'm over 18. You were way overprotective. Aunt Angela has no problem with me staying here with Hannah." Kristen twitches when Lotus mentions Angela. "I don't want Hannah to influence you and change your mind about college." "I don't understand why you don't like Hannah. Anyway, Hannah's situation is entirely different. She didn't enjoy her major in college, but I love the sciences. I also have a scholarship and she didn't. I have been your parent for 18 years and I'm not ready to let you walk off without being sure you're safe and in good company." "That's the thing, Mom. You have overprotected me to your detriment. Tonight was your first date in 18 years as far as I know. It is your first date ever." "Don't question my judgment. It's not been to my detriment. I have built a practice and a business and raised a child," Kristen says defensively. "I'm sorry, Mom. You're right. Are you bringing Jason to the North Shore tomorrow?" Lotus says, knowing she went a bit too far. "Yes, he's a parent and he understands my wish to check in on where you'll be staying." "Well, I'm looking forward to meeting him. I picked a bag of starfruit for both of you." "Is Angela with you now? I want to talk to her." "No, she went to her mother's house, which is nearby. That reminds me," Lotus continues excitedly. "On our way here, we stopped in to see her, and I was able to heal her migraine after just minutes of laying my hands on her head. It was so amazing. I'm excited for you. I want to make sure you have the right expectations about Reiki and other energy healing." "That is what Angela keeps saying. I don't understand. You're always teaching me that we should expect miracles. Are you telling me I should not expect them now?" Of course, you should expect miracles. However, there is a fine line with having an attachment to an outcome, and it's important to stay humble, and even more importantly, not to get people's hopes up. There is a lot you still must learn about healing. I don't get it, Lotus says, confused. Hannah seems a little too sure of herself. So, this is really about Hannah. Mom, you don't know her. Angela says maybe you're jealous and I'm doing healing work with her, not you. That's ridiculous. I'm just saying. We'll see you tomorrow. I need to go now. Kristen puts her phone down and sits with her hands in her lap. She is furious that Angela would undermine her by telling Lotus she was jealous of some young girl. Kristen has often thought that Angela feels superior to her because of her psychic abilities. She wonders if Lotus is also feeling superior. Angela, one of the parents, is supposed to be on her side. Kristen decides to give Angela a call and talk with her. Angela answers the phone straight off with a friendly hello. I'm so mad at you, Kristen says. Well, hello to you too. What did I do? You told Lotus I was jealous of her friend, and now you're encouraging her to start healing people without the proper training. Hold your horses. First off, Lotus shouldn't have shared that with you. It was between her and me. And secondly, I'm with you about ensuring the girl's a professional. I'm sorry that I said you were jealous. I just felt like when I took the Reiki class, you got upset that I started channeling. I didn't get upset, Kristen objects. You think you're better than I am because you're psychic, right? No, I certainly don't, and it hasn't troubled you before to ask me for readings. I trusted you and you're my best friend. Now you're trying to turn my daughter against me. That is a load of crap. Why would I do that? Look, this conversation is not at all productive. I heard you were coming to the North Shore. Let's wait and talk in person. See, that's exactly this. You're still talking down to me. I'm not. Honestly, I'm not. How was your date? You're just like Lotus trying to change the subject. No, I'm interested in a major event in my best friend's life. Well, you're psychic. You should already know. Kristen is infuriated by Angela's attitude and she feels defensive of their accusations. Kristen hangs up the phone. The following day at the yoga class, Kristen's students gush about the incredible healing circle they experienced with Lotus when Kristen was away. Many of the students inquire about the schedule for the next one. Kristen is genuinely happy that Lotus has made such a massive impression on everyone, but she is a little jealous. Kristen hadn't expected to feel that way. First with Angela, who just breezed into the Reiki class and immediately opened up her gifts as a seer. Now, Lotus already seems more popular with her students, who she has spent years teaching. Kristen feels a little discouraged, but when she looks over at Jason, who is donning his new yoga outfit and trying his best to do the poses, she can't help but smile. We each have our role, Kristen reminds herself. She hates that she feels jealous. That is hard work, Jason says after the class is left. He is wiping his brow with a towel. I had no idea. I mean, it's a real workout. I thought it was just a bunch of stretching. You're moving your body differently and opening the energy channels. It won't be so strenuous once you get used to it. What did you think? Did you like it? I loved it. You're a wonderful teacher. I feel great. I feel energized, but at the same time relaxed. It's brilliant. I'm a fan. Kristen hands Jason a glass of water. I'm so glad. It's a big part of my life. I imagine it will be even more so now that Lotus is going off for the summer and then to college. Are you still up for driving out to see her on the North Shore? I had room service pack us a picnic. We could stop along the way on a beach or something. That is so sweet of you. Yes, I'm anxious to get out there. Maybe you can give me your opinion on something while we drive. I had a terrible conversation with my friend Angela last night. Usually she is the one I go to for advice. No problem. I'm a good listener, but I don't know how helpful my advice will be. So far, your advice has been spot on. Great. You can return the favor soon enough. JC and Sam love the idea of putting up a yurt for the wedding, and now I'm confident that I'd like to continue with yoga. That's wonderful news. I'm excited. I already started researching where to buy a yurt. The advantage of yurts is that they are quick to put up, and if I get one under 30 feet, I won't have to wait for a permit. Any idea when they might set a date for the wedding? Not yet. Jessica must decide whether she wants to do the wedding before or after the baby is born. Either way, it'll happen soon enough. I can't believe my baby is going off to college. You hear about the anxiety it creates, but until it happens, you have no idea. Let's get on the road and see this summer getaway from Mom's place. That's not funny, but I think Lotus is dying to get away from me. Take it from another parent. Never take the actions of a teenager personally. I suppose you're right, but I won't stop worrying. Kristen grabs one of her yoga head wraps and puts it on. For the convertible, she says, leading Jason out the door. Why did you want to talk? You mentioned you had an upsetting talk with your friend, Jason asks after they're on the highway. Oh yes, my best friend Angela is a psychic. I usually ask her about simple stuff like whether I should turn my garage into a home yoga studio or let Lotus go to college in the mainland. She always gives me glimpses of what might happen in certain circumstances. I'd like to have a friend like that. I've been wondering if I should retire early. Yeah, that is the kind of question people usually ask her. However, after the false alarm, I asked her to do a reading about what happened. Lotus and I were speculating that there was foul play. How's that? I mentioned our neighbor Davis, who worked for the agency at the time. He said that it was a cover up. Also, it just didn't sound or feel right. Wow, what did she have to say? Angela channeled that was a UFO intervention. Do you believe that? That sounds a bit far out there, no pun intended. Jason chuckles. I don't believe it. That wasn't the part of the channel that bothered me. Angela went on to say that she is from the Sirius star system where she's a lioness. Okay, you lost me on that one. Maybe you should be a little worried. Was your friend Angela eating some mushrooms before she gave you this reading by chance? You'd think so. On the upside, Angela said that you and I were soulmates. Did she? Well, that's not so bad. I could go along with that, Jason says, turning toward Kristen and smiling. I want Lotus to get interested in healing. When you meet her, you will see what a beautiful soul she is. I know that she wants to channel like her godmother, but I'm afraid she is getting caught up in someone else's fantasy, namely Hannah. I'm worried that Hannah is bewitching her and possibly Angela. Before Hannah showed up, no one was talking about shifts in timelines or lives as lions off planet. It's hard not to pinpoint the crazy talk on Hannah. What about her father, Davis? What is he saying about all this? I have no idea. Lotus told me he is moving to Boise, Idaho. As far as I know, he doesn't take an active role in his daughter's life. Someone needs to step in and make sure Lotus doesn't get led astray. Well, I guess we'll see what's going on. Are you sure you still want to meet these people? Of course I want to meet your daughter. They might have all just been doing hallucinogens. I picked Sam up from a party once where they'd been eating magic mushrooms. He said some weird shit. I'm sure we'll get this all sorted out. I hope so, Kristen said. She is glad that Jason is keeping an open mind. Kristen knows that the girls were not doing drugs. In a way, she almost wishes it would be that simple. Chapter 4. Davis and Angela head out for Alihi Beach Park and leave the girls at the property. That was odd the girls didn't want to come swim. I noticed that Hannah winked at Lotus when I mentioned you should visit me in Boise. I hope they aren't falling behind on account of us, Davis says. He realizes he's been openly flirting with Angela, and Davis wants to be sure he isn't leading her on too much. Lotus told me that she wants to work on a healing practice they developed together. I'm sure it has nothing to do with giving us time alone. I don't have a problem with the two girls staying on my property. It would be great if they could keep up with the gardening while I explore my opportunity in Boise, but I'm not okay with them bringing people to the property for healing sessions. It's just not safe to invite strangers for any reason. I agree with you. I think the girls intend to use the property to develop their healing, not sessions. Angela replies and then asks with interest, Hannah winked? Yes, but I'm sure it's my fault. I've been flirting a bit. I want to let you know that I'm attracted to you and I would like to get to know you, but I must tell you that aside from the fact that I'm leaving for Boise, I also need to go slow with romantic side of things. The divorce and then Tammy did her number on me. I mean, that is assuming you're even interested. I understand. I'm also attracted to you, but I'm not sure we have a lot in common. I find myself wanting to steer the conversation away when the girls talk about me being psychic. It's what I do, and I won't be able to hide the fact. I understand, but I don't mind that you're a psychic. Davis parks the car and takes his shirt off. Angela steps out of the passenger seat and looks through the bag she packed. I didn't bring a towel. Do you have an extra one? Davis pulls out a couple fold-up chairs and some towels in the back of the car. Angela's mouth drops open when she sees Davis' broad, tan shoulders accentuate his collarbone, and he has noticeable six-pack abs. She wasn't expecting that of him. This is for you, Davis says when she does not take the towel from him. Oh, thanks, she answers awkwardly. I'll carry the chairs. Where would you like to sit? Let's get away from the crowd a bit. They pick a spot further down the beach. Angela wraps her towel around her and expertly dons her bikini. I would have held that for you, Davis says, watching her wiggle under the towel. I bet you would, Angela says, laughing, and then adds, growing up in Hawaii, you learn how to get in and out of a bikini anywhere. They stroll into the water and swim around for a bit and then make their way back up to the chairs. I was lucky to find property so close to this beach. Isn't it fantastic? It is. It's one reason I don't mind coming down from Honolulu to check on my mom. I come here all the time. The two sit and enjoy the sun in silence. Davis is thinking about Angela's concern about her livelihood. I have to admit I'm a little bit uncomfortable when the girls talk about UFOs, but you might be surprised by my recent attitude on psychics. I haven't told anyone this, but since the false alarm, I started to communicate with my mother, Mabel. Really? You're channeling your mother? Well, it's more like I'm dreaming about her. That night after I met you, I had a vivid dream. I was sure she was speaking right to me. Psychic ability isn't contagious, Angela teases. No, of course not. I'm only telling you this to let you know I'm not a complete skeptic. Well, I may have been a couple of days ago, but a lot has happened since then. Do you remember what she said? Yes, she told me that she is always with me, but then she said a rather odd thing. What is that? She said, you will be meeting new people, and I want you to use the Christian name I gave you, Michael. Chills run down Angela's back, and she can feel the presence of Mabel, and she hears her whisper in her ear, Michael is the king of lions. So then Davis isn't your real name? It's my middle name and my mother Mabel's maiden name. My father started to call me Davis after my mother died in a car accident. He felt it would help me remember her. I can call you Michael. It's interesting because I recently had a dream about Michael. You did? What was it about? It was just a weird dream I had while the girls were giving me a healing. Go ahead, tell me. I just told you about my dream. I dreamt I was a lioness and I had a little cub named Blossom and a lion husband named Michael. Blossom, like my neighbor's daughter? No, her name isn't Blossom, it's Lotus. Oh, right, how could I forget? We were just with Lotus. I was close enough, though. They're both related to flowers. Yeah, you were close, Angela replies, thinking if he asked Lotus, she would say they are one and the same. Angela's excited that Davis isn't opposed to her being a psychic and activating his psychic capabilities. Angela's also thinking about how the channel from her reading mentioned Davis was from Sirius. This recent story about his first name Michael has her wondering if he is the same Michael from her dream. Angela looks at Davis, who she is inexplicably drawn to, and shakes her head, clearing her mind of crazy notions. Davis sits up and shields his eyes from the sun. I hope the girls are okay. I'm sure they are. The most trouble the girls will get in is practicing their healing on the cat. Don't say that. You're conjuring up an image of witches and my cat in a big pot. That's a terrible image. The healing isn't witchcraft, or at least not the kind you have in mind. That's good to hear, I think. After another swim and a short sunbathe, Angela says, we should probably get back. Hannah told me that Kristen is going to come visit tomorrow. I'm wondering if she will be upset with me for allowing Lotus to stay at your property. Probably, but she'll be glad to hear you have some ground rules about no business on the property, Davis replies. Kristen is upset with me right now. I'm hoping we can clear things up. I've been thinking of suggesting that Lotus stay with my mother to limit her time on the property to daytime hours. I thought about prohibiting it altogether, but I have a feeling she will throw the fact that she's over 18 at me again, and I will lose her altogether. You've got to let them go and make their own mistakes. Lotus will be off to college in the fall. I sure hope she will. She looks up to Hannah so much, I'm worried she might follow her example and drop out of school before she starts. In fairness, Hannah almost finished college. I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything against your daughter. That's okay. I understand how you could worry. I'm hoping that Hannah will eventually come around and finish off her degree. And that is the end of chapter 4. Thank you for spending a little time with me, and cheers. Wish me to get the internet back soon so I can upload this.